Well, I look like me.
All right, recording has commenced. I will type that in the thing. Is on.
And I will wait for you to say go.
All right, go.
All right, so this is a Ryan classic. This is Relics. When I pull up in my battle-scarred truck, that old song is playing on the radio, whose lyrics I have misheard, and hell, who did that damn song anyways? Nonetheless, of what I do hear through the cracks and pops, it definitely suits this house. It's an old run-down bi-level with a winding porch and more windows than walls, but the windows are heavily tinted and shades are all half-drawn. The windows do not let the light into the home, but rather steal it, consume it into the darkness, never to be seen again. How many neighborhood rumors revolved around this home? For how long has it been whispered that this is that haunted house? Or this is where that one creepy guy did that one horrific thing? Or even that series of horrific things? Did the boogeyman originate here, inside the darkness of that house, stealing the sunshine from precocious little boys and girls, finally freed from the confines of scholastic imprisonment, until eventually their days of play started getting shorter and they returned to their 9 months of confinement, with no one to blame but the invisible tenant of that ever-decaying but seemingly indestructible and insurmountable house? I imagine a stone in my hand, to be thrown into this house of glass. I picture it not breaking the glass so much as piercing a pool of darkness that ripples across the entire house, melting each window and finally freeing everyone's abducted childhoods. I see the sunlight exploding from the foundation, the cracked brown leaves in every dead, broken tree suddenly springing to life and filling with green. Years of devoured frisbees, kites, and baseballs launching into the air from every crevice. And then I think maybe appearances can be deceiving. Maybe this house is not so much the spooky old ruin, but rather a cracked and worn old photo album, housing years of relics of lives spent well and with love, love that our generation could not possibly fathom, devoid of the electronic means of expressing and spreading it. How many boys turned men turned soldiers here? How many mothers turned grandmothers turned cherished memories? How many years were cried over scraped knees and first loves, or spent on lovers' lanes, backyard barbecues, and drunken sibling brawls? Is that old tire finally getting its deserved rest from someone's swing, or off the wheels of a well-loved ancestor to my vehicle? Whose lives and legends were parked in this dusty driveway? Whose footprints am I standing in right now? Maybe those dark windows never really robbed the light, but rather were meant to hold it in for the love growing inside, so that anyone within would always feel its warmth and brightness. And anytime someone left that house, they returned that light to the world in kind, richer and brighter than it ever would have been had it not spent its time within those walls. Who are you, O house of stolen light? What secrets do you hold? How many childhoods were used up here, either stolen or spent fully? What lives have you had? What adventures can you tell me? I smile. This is going to be fun as I kick in the front door. All right, there's my first one. I think you muted yourself, Josh.
Yeah, I did, as per the rules that I made up.
Oh, that, yeah.
All right. All right, I got a newbie. And if we have to do multiple rounds, I'll have to find some more crap. This is a new-ish, but I played it all sorts of places. This is Toll. What's the sound of a man breaking? Is it that slow drip drip echo of depression? The wind rushing through that hole in your chest? Is it silent like the nights of empty beds, sleeping abandoned and reaching for nothing, just hoping for anyone to drown out the cacophony of one? Is it that metal crunch glass break of the head-on collision with the guardrail after drinking your dinner alone again? Is it the slow babbling brook trickle of blood and tears, blinding, burning your eyes? The wail of an overgrown, overdue infant, the squishy mush trampled beneath your feet? Is it the sound of rolling eyes, the not agains, the are you over it yet, the fuck you, you'll never understand, please someone fucking understand? Is it the patronizing coos? Is it the sound of the words you can never say, never will say? Is it the sound of the wrong question? Are you okay? With the wrong answer every time? the ringing of the church bells, some long dead, here comes the bride confessional, melding with the hangman's funeral dirge, war cry of the apocalypse. Some lifeless musician strumming our song in the wrong key at the wrong time, out of tune, upon your hermit's rib cave harpsichord, played by DJ Jesus, creator of all, knower of none, who died for your spins. Is it the sound of the lightning sizzle ripping through your veins, the dubstep beat tantric jungle crescendo, filling that hole with napalm, the sounds of waves crashing upon the shore of the most ragged, jagged, shredded, bitter pill you'll ever have to force down past that acidic lump in your throat? Is it knuckle-cracking bone on the cinder block wall behind your bathroom mirror? Is it the chip-chop swish-swish on the executioner butcher's block? Is it the gasp at the climax of your favorite book you never wanted to read again? A broken man sounds like nothing you have ever heard, will ever hear, and neither did she. Yeah, you can't hear it with mute, Josh.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, that was my play on metaphors.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if Anna wants out.
Okay. Doom, 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 doom. Just checking to see if anyone is coming from Facebook. Alrighty. Oh, someone's in the chat. Oh, Kelly. All right. Sai, do you want to go next?
Sure. Sure, I could go.
Awesome.
Do you want me to try keep it to 10 minutes or?
Just for the first round, try to keep it to 10 minutes. I'm
All right.
pretty sure we're gonna do multiple rounds with people, because even if people,
All right.
even if we get a flood in the next 20 minutes, you know, it'll work out. So.
All right.
Alrighty. All right, and I need to just get back into full screen mode real quick so that your whole face is taking up the whole thing. And all right, we're good to go.
So this is called Raindrop. I tried to find one of my more positive pieces because I have a lot of depressing poems. And this is one that I specifically wrote because I felt bad about the fact that rain is used as a metaphor for sadness when I like rain. So I tried to write a happy poem about rain. If you were a raindrop, I would rather you fell on a rose. If you were a rose, I wouldn't ever cut you, but I would build my wall around you. If you were a wall, that's where I would hang my coat at the end of the day. If you were a day, I would have that day off for reading poems and painting your sunrise. If you were a painting, it would be of a rose, wet from the rain, on a canvas large enough to see from across the street. And I would live across the street to see you every morning. And this one is one that I specifically chose because of the economic conditions that we're all living under these days. We are not alive to pay bills. We are alive to incur expenses. The human body's sole function is to convert soil and sea and sunlight into shit and breath and noise and more human bodies. We are not here to justify ourselves. We have no duty to our shareholders to turn a profit or turn in the keys. We are here to take the money and run. We are here to squander that initial investment on copious bread and wine, on trips to the theater and friendships, and cheap hookers that only charge you your time and your best approximation of love. We're to love the time we have and not worry whose time we've been wasting on such trivialities as late night conversations with strangers, artisanal baked goods, and finding that one great book you know is buried somewhere in all these old boxes. We are not here forever. We are here for ourselves and each other. We are here to go and to never come home. This one doesn't have a title. Am I rubber or am I glue? If what I say might stick to you, get in your head and change your brain, then maybe it's not that insane to be alive and do what I please, to sleep and eat and burp and sneeze and dream like a real life person, like a rubber tree soul and a sticky set of cells or a bouncing ball full of jangling bells, full of living and running from pain. But if I reach in and change your brain, oh, how I could believe that I'm real. And a couple more that are more politically charged. This is called Unequal Peace. I don't know where you get your ideas about utopian ideals touted by star-eyed youth. From where I stand at the edge of this range, the most I can see is an unequal peace. But even that is unattainably far. The slopes are too steep on this side and no clear path down from the summit, while the vultures circle above, themselves as lean as the meat I've eaten in my last most fragile rest. The tree line so far behind me, my bare feet hardened on unsteady stone, that whoever knows where I am now is surely just as lost. A generation of missing persons, climbing a mountain that's growing as fast in the hope that the other side is gentler, or at least less lonely, but resolute in our acceptance of the risk that it is rockier and colder there. At least we'll have knowledge, and therefore more power than we have here. We'll get no trophy even if we win this. That's just fine. We can't eat a trophy. The plastic medal won't pay for gas. I've passed a dozen corpses already. Having survived this long is reward enough. And if I die, that too will be a worthy prize. Idealism isn't for sheltered, coddled children. We were raised on dystopias, not utopias. Post-apocalypse is our fantasy. As adults, we're still overturning rocks for hidden pennies, bugs and roots, setting fires wherever we can find the fuel, burning pieces of this world you've given for no other reason than the night is cold. For this, you call us idealists, as if that were an insult, as if you expect us to care. And this one's going to be my last for now. Sort of along the same lines, written around the same time. It's called The Locust. What it's like to be young and growing in a world that's old and dying. Fresh concrete poured onto grass in a vacant lot next to a crumbling road. Pre-gentrified, still dusty, still overrun by weeds and idealistic criminal children. A boarded up house under constant threat of a half-collapsed, a half-snapped falling tree trunk that's been half-snapped for a year already, about to lose its summer leaves for the second time since it fell. I live in a world that grows while it's dying, and I'm dying while I grow. Pop punk is sour candy. I always liked my lemonade so much stronger. If I don't shudder on the first sip, it may as well be water. I don't think these kids are setting themselves on fire because they think it'll make them cool. I think they want to shine, even if it's a fast burning light, even if it kills them. Give a man a fire, he'll be warm for a day. Set a man on fire, he'll be warm for the rest of his life. I'm just cynical enough to have hope that it'll save me. I'm just wise enough to think I might be able to keep myself alive. If I just keep running from my problems, maybe I'll find some safety. Even if there isn't a promised land, maybe I can get away from you. Maybe all of us can get away from you. Maybe the symbol of transformative self-love isn't a butterfly after all. Maybe it's a locust. That's it for now. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Those are some really cool lines. Oh man, there was that one image that just like struck me as soon as you said it. Now it's like, now that I want to talk about it, it's fleeting out of my brain.
Why I wrote them down. Kate, Kat, you can unmute yourself if you so wish.
I can send you those poems if you like.
I really want to hear the one with the line, "We are not here to justify ourselves," your second one. I really like that one.
Yeah, that one's
All right, Kat, if you want to read, go to the chat and throw in your name, how many poems you're going to read, and roughly how long you think it's going to take, and whether you want to be recorded or not.
Okay.
At this point, there's not so many of us that are reading that it's necessary, but I want to keep the structure there just in case we do hopefully get flooded with people here in a second. Just to have a sense of like, oh, some, people got here and there's a list, In the meantime, I think I'm gonna do a poem, but I don't know what. I think I'll do the Wishing Well tattoo from
Ooh, I love that poem. That seriously needs to be a real tattoo, Josh.
I want to, but I'm totally a giant coward, so
Oh, because it would take up your whole back.
it would take up my whole back and it would be so much pain.
Hours and hours of torture.
Oh, yeah, duh. Life is pain, my friend.
So yeah. Anyway, so right now it remains a fictional theoretical tattoo for the
It
metaphor.
would kind of ruin the poem if you ever did actually.
Yeah,
get a tattoo.
exactly, because of the first line. Okay, the Wishing Well tattoo. There's this tattoo I wish to get if I ever get rid of this fear of making decisions. It's this little girl, maybe 7 years old or so. She's holding on to an aged dandelion by its neck. Her eyes are closed, but open to a whole other world. She shoots a wish toward it with every muscle in her body that she doesn't know the name of yet. The seeds, they propel across my back and transform into the shooting stars they always dreamed they'd be. Somewhere below, on an otherwise empty beach, there's a couple of teenagers discovering themselves inside one another. They kiss and tell no one. The blanket promises to keep its secret, and the sand sneaks into places it knows it's unwelcome. They are drunk in the passion of the moment. She is lost in the stars. She wants to gently scoop those lights from the sky and seal them in a mason jar, and watch them do their cosmic dance around each other to remind herself of how small she feels under them and how amazing it felt to be nothing and everything at the same time. She holds her breath, and closing her eyes, she sends up a wish in the music of young lust. Meanwhile, on my rightmost shoulder blade, there's an old man looking down a wishing well at the two young lovers play, smiling at his memories which, like the ink, are fading. A wish falls out of his mouth and speeds down into the darkness. It bounces off the back of the boy's head and is gobbled up by the greedy sand. Well, yeah. Okay. I was just checking the chat. Yeah, so I'm just going to pop in every now and again when there's space to fill and read. So I'm not going to take like 10 minutes for myself. So, Kat, do you want to go next?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. 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 All right
All right, we'll do cat next.
Okay, I'm still learning Zoom, so this is exciting. All right. Mindfulness bell. Show me where my buttons are, that I may steep them in stillness. Soak them in the hot water whistle in the late afternoon, in the late night kitchen. Set all my alarms to excitement, that I may soothe them in silence, rock and relax the adrenaline, assuring absence of tigers. Remind me there is work still undone, rough edges crying for sandpaper, sticky spots of ego and pride, affiliations with labels. Remind me to let go of everything, including my favorites, including my pet peeves, because anything I can let go of wasn't me anyhow. Becoming purity requires bells of mindfulness. Bells set off by exits through security doors, set off by smoking oven, set off by finding my sore spots left by another. Bells ringing in each hour by the church on the corner. Bells inviting me to just be. Ermin snapping in the background. On resolving to re-self. What does it mean when thoughts turn green on the page, when the birds shift into confetti, when the monitor becomes paisley? How do you interpret your dreams when young sleeps on your pillow, when bubbles engulf memories into a static mist, when reality morphs into daydream? What do you do with footfalls that refuse to be caged in edifice, when wings ache, when words hover ripe with siren song, longing to voice as to sing to the stars? Will you strap the house monitor onto bruised ankle? Will you turn up the resolution on the spy cam? Or will you resolve to escape, take flight into the uncharted landscape of beyond the horizon, and wave silently to the mundane? And that's all for now. I might come back with more.
All righty. All right, I'll switch back to gallery view for the moment. Okay. So I'm currently just messaging everyone I've ever met who reads poetry to try to get a couple more people to show up. All right. Oh, by the way, Kelly is commenting in the Zoom chat and telling everyone how awesome they are. So if you guys need the ego boost, look at the chat. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying everybody's words so much tonight.
Yeah, small group, but good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to know that things stay consistent whether we're in person or not, you know, when it comes to poetry readings. Like you'll either have like 40 people or you'll have 3. Okay. So oh, okay, yeah, well you were recorded anyway. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do another one from, this one's going to be from Everything Defenestrated, which is my latest collection. Oh, all the art on my books, except for She Divines and Breakwater Breakwall. So for these 2 books, the art is done by the amazing Amanda Whitlock. She is fantastic. So we're going to do Time is a Funny Thing. Spotlight my video, and here we go. The days drag on, and the weeks fly by in a blur, and the years come faster and faster as yesterdays begin to compress into decades of blurred and fragmented memories, and even these eventually become debris in the wake of time's relentless march forward. I wonder what Earth looks like from the point of view of a comet sprinting toward us, just 2 celestial bodies fated for collision in just 20 billion tomorrows. I think about humanity in those early days, how suddenly we went from hunting wild beasts with sticks and stones to hunting pizza with mobile phones, from gathering in caves and makeshift huts to watch fire flicker and make children, to gathering on couches and in living rooms to binge watch Netflix and make children. I look up at the sky, at all the stars, and think how many of those died long ago, and how long will it take for us to get the memo? And despite all of this, I fail to stop myself from looking down. Nothing has changed. Not a minute slips by as I sit here and fidget, waiting for your reply. Oh, new person, Marcus. Hi, Marcus.
Hey, Marcus.
Hey, Marcus. Type in the chat if you want to read. Basically,
I don't want to read.
you want to read? Okay. Type in your name,
Nope.
how many pieces you're looking at doing, and if you're okay with being recorded in the chat. And you
Yeah,
have
okay, no.
all right, back to gallery view. How's everybody doing?
I exist. Oh, I don't look
Doing
like it
alright.
because I'm not in front of the camera now.
Well, how is this actually set up? I'm gonna sneak in and take a look.
Okay, so when we're in gallery view, and this is currently recording, they can see it however they want to see it. But there's gallery view and then speaker view. I can specifically click on somebody who's going to be reading and highlight them. There's a spotlight option, so
Oh.
spotlight video.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure how we're going to do that with Marcus because he doesn't have his video.
Oh, so do you just leave it as gallery for somebody who doesn't have video?
Yeah. And that's it.
Cool.
And then it's currently recording. But anyone who doesn't want to get recorded will probably just edit it out.
Neat.
So am I mistaken, or did Marcus say he wanted to read? No?
I think
No.
he's. I
Oh,
think
he
he
does
said
not. Okay, sorry. Alrighty. So he's just here chilling out. Okay, cool. Then whoever wants to go next and jump back in. Because currently everyone who is reading has read one at least.
I've got more.
All right, go ahead, Si.
This is called The River You Cross. It's one of the, I think it's the first one I wrote that got published. I haven't read in a while. In the end, it's not the river you cross, but the river that crosses you. Or else, for a moment, you cross yourself, watching an earlier version walk by, frizzy-haired and stunted, lugging a satchel like a ball and chain, in 30 degrees but no coat because you hadn't yet learned how to dress, but insisted that nobody would dress you. After all, you weren't a child anymore. Except that you were, you know that now. They all were, all of you, a river of children who think that they're not, carrying the rafts of their hopes bound to crash, every one of them, because they have no oars. They were cut from the dock, perhaps unfairly soon, and now they're a burden on the backs of these children who think they're not. The world ought to stop and wait for them to cross the street. Because if a dream should crash into them, Lord knows they won't see it coming. This one's called Many Sins. My existence is enabled by many sins. The murders of my sisters and my brothers are writ in the lines of the facts of my birth. Violence is written into my nuclear code. My genetic line was conceived by imperial rape. The thefts of lands and of labor enriched my ancestors and their allies. My food is fed on suffering. My house is warmed by greed. And my body is carried on the back of a dying world. My existence is enabled by many sins. I cannot excuse a single one without excusing all. I cannot forgive myself without forgiving all who made me, all who feed me, all who saved me time and again. So I forgive them. I forgive the original sins of the world, for I so loved the world that I would sin once more, just to preserve it, just to save it. This is a bit of a more lighthearted one. I still have a few of those left. There's a fly in the room. I think it's the same fly, and I don't know why, but I want it dead. The hunter in me is awakened, and see how it leaps, like it knows my every twitch. So my palm claps down on the counter, empty, smelling revenge, as strong as the hunter's sweat masked with filth, so as not to spook the game. All the same, perhaps I'd best let it fly. Do no harm to them is harm not me, or stick to thumbing the slow ants for what meager taste of power I can. And pray that if there is a God, he has more enlightened taste than mine. I guess that's what counts as lighthearted in my standards. This is one I wrote right before I dropped out of school the first time. It's called Margins. No, no more. I'm on the margins now, where foxes prowl in the morning, spits dust at the sky. And you ask me from your desk chair, what is the model and make of your mind? And make up your mind, son. Meanwhile, that apple tree is bleeding into my hand, bobcats are hiding their tails, rocks are split where the roots are dangling under our wheels. And so tell me, Professor, when can I go from this tower down to where the ivy grows thick? Because I'm ill, and the stone's cracking under my soles. And my aim is to get to the dirt, if you please, please. No more. I'm in the weeds now. Let me down. Here's another political one. It's called the Disenfranchised Bill of Rights. You have the right to touch the darkness that surrounds you. Take the soot from your burned down self-regard and rub it on your eyelids like a maudlin bid for pathos. You have the right to build yourself up using the rubble of your parents' crumbling expectations and act as childish as a child who's tasted failure for the first time, not just as pain, but as shame. It is your right to suffer as children do, kicking and screaming and drawing blood if possible. You were a child once. It is your right to remember that and to demand, as if your life depended on it, the life you want. And that's all for now.
Awesome, awesome. I think we had a person join us, I believe, unless somebody popped out and then came back in.
How do you see
Yeah.
the rest of the people?
I think this is everybody. It's
Oh, okay.
6. So there was a person that popped in and then came back out. So that's cool. So C. Williams just messaged me back. He said he's gonna try to get in later. Currently waiting on responses from Azrael Johnson, John Burroughs, all them. Alrighty. So I think I'm gonna jump in and do one more.
I'd love if John Burroughs showed up.
I
love
don't.
it.
That would be awesome if John Burroughs showed up. How cool would that be? That the beat poet of Ohio, or was it all of Ohio or just Northeast Ohio? I think he's all of Ohio, the Beat Poet Laureate of Ohio.
Beat poet of my heart, anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure. No. For those who don't know, John Burroughs is a god among men. And my wife is currently picking out my next poem.
I don't know. I was immortal.
I was
once.
immortal once? Okay. So, weird background that won't actually give you any idea what this poem means, but it's something I like to say before I read it. Is I always imagine this poem being recited by a 9-fingered homeless man. I mean, there's a whole thing, but it's not. I mean, it's a thing. Anyway. I was immortal once. Believe me, I was invincible. And back when I was immortal, I used to play hopscotch high on the clouds above the New York City traffic and laugh every time I caught myself on the edge. I used to play hide and seek with the truth. I'd hide in the bedroom closet of this muse and be there when she came home from a long day's inspiration. I'd watch her undress, searching her naked self in the mirror like something was missing, but she never could find it. I think she knew I was there. Yeah, she knew. I used to race with shooting stars. I won once, but I cheated that time, so I don't think it counts. I used to dance with the moon all night. She moved my waters, and I took her virginity. Ours was a love of necessity. I kissed the sun. She blushed, and the moon got jealous. And then I met God, the most beautiful of all of my conquests. I knew no one else would quite match up to her. She and I made man together, and it was parenthood that tore us apart. Yeah, I was immortal once, but now I'm just waiting to die like everybody else. So who wants to jump in next? Kat, you got more, or Ryan?
I got some experimental stuff. That's why I was running around. I thought I was on mute, so you probably heard me get up to go to the bathroom.
I didn't hear anything.
The text of that one if you want. All right, I'll try to find a copy of the text sometime and give that to you. Or I could take a picture of it, I guess. All right, so we're going to spotlight Ryan, and he's going to do some experimental stuff.
Ha! Here, let me get me ungreened for a minute. Ah! All right, so as you guys, some of you know, I'm working on putting together this book, The Analog Kingdom. So these are kind of a few work in progress examples of what might be in it. The one I'm going to put an excerpt in from the Blue Collar Lament, The Weary Road to Nowhere, which is this bar where all kinds of working class people meet at the end of the week. They don't necessarily know each other, they just all kind of gather there. Each character in it is kind of a different excerpt written by a different person, just kind of talking about their working class life. So this is a real short one that I wrote about Ashtabula. The old brick and mortar lays open, half wrecked, hung open like a wound pouring out the blood and sweat of 1,000 craftsmen. The men whose sons' mothers cried when those sons took to the streets. The trail of tears that eventually flooded the river that they used to feed their family, now poisoned by the sludge belted out in Chemical Alley, where the boys work just enough to afford another fix and meet their dealer at that old brick and mortar. All right. Not that people need reminded of this, but another thing is a while ago, Josh wrote about a zombie apocalypse world. And it's centered around these sanctuaries. Correct me, Josh, if I say anything wrong, where people stayed to be safe. So long after he had already developed that into another storyline, it became an RPG online for a while, and then he developed it into his playground storyline. I came up with 2 other characters because I like the idea of sanctuaries of one, of these people that survived on their own purely by using the skills that what made them loner losers, outcasts in the previous world. So one person I've nicknamed Bookworm. She was a very socially anxious cat lady, bibliophile who got stuck in a library/bookstore when the apocalypse happened. So she survived basically just on the knowledge alone contained within there, and kind of became an information broker all by herself. And she uses her cats too to spread the information. Zombies avoid cats. They don't avoid them, they ignore them. Dogs are aggressive, cats are not usually. But anyways, my justifications. So I had a person start writing a little excerpt. Her name's Elizabeth, and there's a little bit of the beginning of the story that she wrote here. The cat was going to die if it didn't jump. It was in a tree just outside the stone wall bordering my library. There was a shredded bird attached to its back. It was so small and dark it looked like the bird's shadow held it up. I thought I could barely see a crumpled scroll attached to the bird. I wish I had binoculars or something. It was too young. The only reason I sent it out was because I was running low on supplies, and other retrievers were taking longer and longer to come back. My stomach twists as the moans and rasping starts around the tree, and the cat hisses and howls in response. I start backing away from the desk that I have facing the large main window on the second floor. The cat gets quiet, and I think I can see it move towards the branch that angles towards my wall. Without much thought, I spin around, run toward the exit, and bolt down the steps toward the bottom. I step on my own feet. I've always been a klutz. I throw my hands out in front of me, and the heels of my hands hit the landing. I keep moving my feet forward to get under me. I hear my shoes squeaking against the marble floor. It feels like forever, but it's only a few seconds before I get my footing again. One of my feet feels numb, and I limp as fast as I can out the back door, into the courtyard, where I see the trees shaking. I shouldn't be out here now with them moaning like this, but I'm so hungry. Gold feathers accompanied by a set of black ears and gold eyes peek out over the wall. I hold my arms out and try to step forward, but my ankle sends up a shooting pain. The fall did something to it. The cat is in the air above me now. It's got blood all over and it's falling hard, and I do everything I can to focus on the cat and ignore my ankle as I jump forward, arms still out. And then ... That's all she's got for me for now. She mentioned this is a very, very rough beginning, but I think it's a very, very good beginning. That's all I got for you for now. If you guys are interested in the Analog Kingdom book project, you can hit me up later, and I'll give you details.
Okay. So I was laughing a little bit because I feel like we're like the Brady Bunch. Like there's all these little faces and everyone's looking up and down and over, and it's just cracking me up. I love it.
That or the Hollywood Squares.
Yes, Hollywood Squares. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go back to my alternate form. I'm all gray now. This isn't even my final form.
Like Pokemon or something.
DBZ.
All right. All right. I got a couple. Are you guys ready? Good.
We're good.
Okay. Transformed. Weathered and worn, my face becomes a scrapbook. Will you be able to look into my lenses to see my losses and lessons? Tattered and torn, when my body becomes an open book, will you flip through my dog ears to reread your favorite passages? Broken and born, when my scars become an atlas, will you sharpie the places you've been, discover the wounds within the packages, now blessings, tailored, transformed? Snapping. All right. He denies it. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna give you guys temple door. The temple door is narrow and low. In order to enter, remove all hats, disrobe all uniforms, drop all trophies and baggage. The temple door is tricky to find, though many signs point the way. So many people stuck at signs and clearings, never following the path into the woods. Inside, all the lights are out, or are they on? removing self, becoming you, singing praises, thank you, thank you. Inside every cell, inside every longing, your face. Your face becomes my face left at the door of the temple. And I'll give you because it's like very small group today. It'll catch on, you guys. I already put the word out. There, some of my Erie friends want to join us. I don't know where they are, but it'll happen. All right. Splunking in upside down caves. Splunking in the mine, light emanating from the forehead lantern within. Caverns climb upwards to the surface of the moon. Here the air is thicker, full, richer, still. Breathing once a year becomes more than enough nourishment for sustaining the journey. Pressing feet into powdery clay, the march marks the pathway. And I got one more for now. Paranormal portrait. Like a ghost with unfinished business, I ruminate over once and future conversations. I pat the floor, adding links to my chains, links for every ulcer moaning down the hall of my throat, pleas for someone to avenge my life still in progress. Like the phantom with the candlestick, beware flammable drapes in the gusty corridor, up the creaking staircase, into the bleached bedroom where the cobwebs creep, ascend through ceiling, finger through storage, glass ornament shards gleam in the dust. Like fading photograph, forgotten and amid partially can't read today, amid partially perused novels. Look past me, through me, until you only know I once was here by the hair I left on my
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alrighty. So I guess I'm gonna jump in and read a couple. Just like I wanted to just sporadically only do like one at a time, but that was when I thought there'd be more people. So I feel like I can pad some time and do a couple more. This one I wrote kind of exclusively for a I'm part of the basically like my library's I don't want to call it a student newspaper, but it's pretty much a student newspaper. Yeah, okay. Yeah, me too. I got a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so basically it's a student newspaper that the staff reporter, but I wrote this for that. And it was this piece I wrote about, I get a lot of ideas for poems about libraries and stuff. Oh, it is so fun. Okay, anyway. All right, so those who don't know, Kelly's a coworker of mine. Alrighty, so this is the king of the library parking lot. Lee was posted up in his usual spot, back by the stacks with his phone on life support, its umbilical cord knotted up like a nest and held together by electrical tape. It sat next to his vape box and stack of books about the GED, 21st century side hustles, and back issues of Ebony. People come in and out of the library and everyone says hi to Lee. See, he is the man to see. He asks about your lives and gives sage advice. How you been, my man? How the kids doing, girl? How's married life treating you, my dude? My man, you got this. Baby girl, look into that. Dude, don't wear your hat like that, boy. You look silly. Lee lives in a van that he parks nearby so he can job hunt on the free Wi-Fi, even when the place is closed. If you feel sorry for me, don't, says Lee. I'm the freest now I'll ever be, so don't you dare take pity on me. I'm doing all I can, being all I can be. Everything's temporary. Tomorrow I could be you and you could be me. We're just one bad day, one scratch-off lottery ticket away from swapping places, my man. Yeah, I live in that van parked outside the library, but if you think I'm sad, you're thinking wrong. You won't see me moping or doping or floating along. You won't see me frowning or drowning or singing a sad song. I'm happy with what I got. Who wouldn't want to be in my spot? I'm the king of the library parking lot. Keeping on the theme of scratch-off lottery tickets, this is a poem I wrote about my mother-in-law called The Chances. Scraping off the smiling Santa Claus faces, dim hope fading with each metallic fleck flicked onto the kitchen floor. Yet she will buy more, and always the same numbers on gas station tickets she buys with a bag of chips and gas station hummus with a gas station pop in a gas station cup too large to hold with one hand, and she fills to the brim with hope. She never lets herself get empty. She fills her soul with perpetual certainty that one day she's gotta win. She's just gotta. So she plays the game, plays the odds, fills her cup, fills up her tank, drives to 2, 3, 4 thankless jobs, and never lets her soul get to empty. She's just gotta win. Fate has gotta give in to her sheer ambition. She knows it in her bones that maybe not this time or next time or the time after, but soon. Definitely soon. Trying to think if there's something else I want to throw in here real quick while I'm still looking through my Hello Poetry page.
You think it's gonna go on a while yet? Should I post something? Because I didn't.
Yeah, well, C said he'll come in maybe a little later if he can.
Okay.
So
I'll post something.
yeah, post something. See if you can get some more people showing up.
I'm gonna say this is still going
Hey
on.
Josh, would this be a good time to do the couple of ads we were going to talk about earlier?
Yeah, if you want to, take care of that, do that real quick.
Couple of things we got going on. We have, I guess I'll have to post it in the chat window. We have a YouTube channel we're going to try to post this on later, which is why we ask if it's okay if you're recorded.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get the link right now. We also have our Facebook page, which we kind of use as our website. And one of the things that we've been doing primarily before this reading was making books. We make small bifold mini chapbooks for anybody that asks us, and then we print and distribute them for free, and have always also distributed them digitally so people can get them as PDFs if they wish to.
Another thing to mention is we do have a Patreon. It just started. I created it solely to try to recoup some of the costs of buying Zoom so that I can keep doing this every month. So if you can throw a couple bucks at it, the lowest thing is $3 and we'll write you a thank you haiku. And $9 you get every time we put out a new book, you'll get the digital copy. And then at I don't expect any of you guys to do this, but at $25, you pretty much get access to all of our backlog digitally, and you'll get a physical copy of every new book that comes out, mailed to you.
We also have an Amazon page. We've been putting some of the books up there.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon does not let us do it for free, but if you're donating to the Patreon, that covers the cost of sending you one of those too.
Yeah.
Or you can just purchase one of the books you're there, and they're not as small as the mini chaps we make. There's collected volumes of those mini chaps. One of Josh's is coming out soon, which has his first 4 beautiful blasphemy books ever, long before we ever started distributing them for everyone. And Leonard Lund, we just did a collected volume of his. And then there is an exclusive art zine for Sheena Zilla of basically the interesting trash she found along her walks to work every day. And that one didn't suit our smaller format, and it's fully color.
We will literally publish everything. Anything you send us.
Well, we do have the moniker responsible free speech, but I've yet to find somebody that meant I had to
We
apply
won't
that.
publish you if you're a dick, but we also don't really have much in terms of, I don't want to say we don't have any standards, but it's more.
We don't judge.
Yes, it's more about like everyone needs to start somewhere, and everybody deserves to have their stuff out in the ether just to kind of get the feel of like what it's like to have a book out there and how just to have people might find eyes on it. You know what I mean? You never know when someone's gonna find one of these and it'll be the thing that they treasure for the next like 10 years. It'll just be like a poem that gets stuck in their head, and then they'll like, I don't know how many times that's happened to me just going through YouTube or accidentally finding like one of these, like I think I read a John Burroughs poem like 5 years before ever meeting John Burroughs, and I still like some of those lines just stick with you. And so that's all I'm saying is like you could be that for somebody and not even know it. And we want to give everyone that opportunity if you want it.
We have a whole variety of reasons people make books. We have a ton of Josh's, and some of them were just these small format projects he just wanted to do. He's got plenty of his own books on his own Amazon page. There's plenty of mine in there, and there's our Jigsaw project where we cut up poems to make new ones. Some of the books are that where I held 3 different convention workshops on those, and those each have their own book. We have brand new people. We have Leonard Lund is an established, lifelong senior poet and just had these small things. One of the things we published for him was reprinting one of his own self-published mini chaps. It's all over the place on who and why we would do it. So I just posted the YouTube channel. It's actually the YouTube channel for my art group, but there's a playlist that lists there specifically for poetry readings. Any previous reading I've been to, I record myself. If you go back far enough, you'll get readings where we started this doing readings at my house.
Here. I feel like I took it up with me, but it must have fell out or something.
Oh, as a heads up, the amount of books we currently have, I think, about 38 different books we have in print.
Oh wow, 38 we haven't printed yet?
Oh.
No, we have 38 in print.
Oh, in print. Okay. I thought
It might be 39 if you count the Amazon exclusive. I have about a dozen or more, or a half dozen or more that aren't in print right now.
Cool. I was just gonna read from Octothorpe, and I had it in my hand, but now I can't find it.
You want to go to the Google Drive and open up the PDF? You still have that.
I've got another bunch of poems I could read.
Yeah, we'll toss it over to Cy for a minute, and then I'll try to find that chapbook roll.
The sun's about to go down, so I'm got the mood lighting over here. I wrote this after visiting St. Louis. Just as the parabolic lift of the arch foretells its own descent, just as the brightening dawn is the elder twin of evening, every fine and frenetic departure will lead to the long and hungry road home. And one cold and over-caffeinated night, the last night of this leg of the tour, while the last band of the show plays their first song, you will be staring down at your body with its 1,000 barely treated pains, tracing with your eyes the surgical scars you'll someday wear across your chest, like a memory of the breath that's labored far too long not to bring forth new life. And the song is as beautiful as a bar stool to a 1 month sober ass, the first unamplified voice that has ever sung. And you'll be tired, but you will not rest until you finally touch the ground. This is called Loving the Body. Loving the body, wait. Loving the soul requires loving the body, cage that it is, its angular blades cutting the cord to the sky, but leaving space for the truth to bleed through. Loving the body requires loving the death it brings. Yours is the birth, and mine is the blade that cuts the cord, with wisdom's blood staining my hands. Where you were the goddess of life, I am the god of death. I'll end the cycle and begin it again when my seed is sown. Loving the body requires loving the cycle of life, requires loving the goddess god ring. Loving the soul requires loving the body. Beat the drum until the two are one, as only in birth are the clapping of hands. This one's called Maybe My Most Overwrought Poem Yet. Because every so often even though I write so many depressing poems, every so often I'll write one that's so depressing it surprised me. I was dancing the pain from my joints after riding the wave of recursion up from the cruelty of unconditional love into the endless decision not to choose, the inescapable freedom of contradiction. It is easier to choose between two pains than between two pleasures. So if you want to feel clear of sight and in control, flip the world upside down and see the dark side of everything. And then those fools too foolish to see the evil you've saved them from will only weep for the good that they've lost. That's why evil will always win, and the winners are always evil. That's why there's hope. The way out is clear. Flip it upside down and run deeply into the dark forest, where the god of fear guards the gates into hope. And anyway, my love, don't despair. I know you are sad, but at least you are you. Now I gotta turn my light on so I can read. This is called The Seed of the Buddha's Soul. It's a love poem for my ex. I don't know if you're the one who planted the seed of the Buddha's soul inside me, or if it was there my whole life, walking with me in thin shoes through ice water sidewalks, the day after my 18th Christmas, sitting with me in the shade of the bus stop sign, young and beaten down with greasy hair and flannel. Did it wait silently 20 years while I fed my addictions? And did it hunger with me many long months when shame drove me finally to fight back? Did it speak with me my first broken promise, my first heartfelt lie, my first words of hate? Did it rejoice at my triumphs, playfully admonish my pride, weep at my victimhood, and gently prod me into strength, so that finally, when my soul met yours, in the mirrorless land behind our lives' illusion, compassion and patience and wisdom and joy would bloom, like a flower fed by pain and warmed by love, from my companion, my lover, my confidant, my collaborator, my fellow bodhisattva, a being made of pure sunlight, with the seed of the Buddha's soul growing quietly inside him too. And here's a pretty new one. I think this is from this past fall. It's called Angels in Drag. I was sinking into the night like it was the ocean, and I was chained to an anchor. like in that scene from a Disney movie that always turned me on when I was a kid. And I felt my centimeter long dick get hard, and I crossed my legs in hopes of keeping it down. But that pressure just made it harder. So I clamped my thighs down harder until suddenly it didn't feel hard anymore, and I relaxed. I didn't know what that even was, or if anyone ever felt like that but me, until I read my puberty book. But that's not the part of the book that I was supposed to read, was it? I was supposed to stick to, what do I do when I get my period? And how do I conduct a breast self-exam? Not the part about masturbation. I'm pretty sure they didn't mean to put that part in. And then I realized I was already doing it. And that's when I figured out it was wrong. Yeah, the book said it was okay. The book said it was natural. But the book didn't say it starts at age 7 during the bondage scenes in the 10 Commandments or fucking Disney animated features. The book didn't say I could be molested as a child by my own adult sexuality before I even knew what it was. And here I am tumbling through Tinder profiles of 20-year-old non-binary drag kings wearing leather and chains in their selfies, and I remember how much I hated myself when I was their age. And I want them to strap me down and punish me for ever looking at them with lust. Yes, and I want them to laugh and use me to feel powerful, so they remember how powerful and good they are. My angels in drag, dragging me out of the depths back into the air. And I think that might be my last one for the day.
Alrighty. That was intense. All right. Anyone else want to jump in real quick again? I have a couple, but I'll wait until someone else goes. Kat, you got more? Yay! We'll play Kat. Give her the spotlight.
All right, I got one more for you. I think it's a good time for this one. I wrote it like 3 years ago, but it's applicable. It's called Beauty Amid Difficulty. Focus on the beauty in the midst of anger, fear, sadness, anxiety. See the snowflake twinkles. See the branches of frost splitting into 6 arms. See how this one is different from that one. See how the icicles drip in rows like shark teeth. The attention trains the heart. Beauty will soften it until there is no more need for fear. See how this day is unlike any other? Look around and take note while it's here. Write about your day in the snow, to melt in spring or surprise thaw. The record of hardships and wrongdoings, like icicles and snow mounds, ready to soften into water in just the right moment.
All right. Do you have any more? Or
I just want to end with that one, I think.
alrighty.
I have more, but
I mean, you're more than welcome to read more. I mean, we all have giant piles of material that we could do. I could do this all night. I'm pretty sure Sai could do this all night. Ryan, I know, could do this all night. And I haven't actually been to a reading in what feels like years at this point. So I'm
Ooh,
really
Josh.
like just kind of, this is kind of scratching and itching my soul. So I could keep going and keep listening to people or do something.
I could, but I don't want to do it all night.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we all could, but you know, I'm hoping that we get some more people in. But I set up to go. I said it was gonna end at 8, so I'm gonna keep it open till 8, maybe a little bit after. But if C. Williams doesn't show up, he doesn't show up. If John Burrow, if none of them show up, then they don't show up, and we'll try to get them next time.
Hey, Josh, I want to interrupt you before you read real quick.
All right.
So I was just mentioning that you would be the next book, and your book is now live.
Oh yeah, I saw. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, so I put a link in there if you guys are interested. You don't have to buy the book that way if you don't want. You can also get free versions of them individually. It's 4 books collected into 1 volume.
And I will say this, a lot of that content ended up in my in either what we're made of found objects or break wall to break wall. So if you guys wanted to buy like my other books from Amazon, you could get those either. You can, either one. There's probably earlier drafts of a lot of the poems that are in those books end up coming from the books that I originally put out through Beautiful Blasphemy before we were like a thing.
I vote that we spend the rest of the time just watching Ryan move around in that green screen.
Oh, I'm
just
enjoying
finding that
this.
hypnotic.
This is creepy. I might steal this for an art project now that I know my computer can do this.
I sure hope you do, because I want to see what you do with it.
I mean, I do have things that can record me on my computer. I'm just now learning how to use
Weird.
this thing I've had for 3 years.
See, we're all learning stuff in this quarantine.
I know, you forced me to learn, Josh. God damn it. What kind of librarian are you?
We got another person liked it, so maybe they'll come in.
You gonna read now?
A lot of people really like this is like that this is happening, but not enough to actually like come.
That's par for the course with poetry.
Yeah.
It's like lots of people love poetry in theory.
Right. Like, as an idea out there somewhere.
Like, it's cool that it exists, but
They love to be able to say that there's a poetry reading tonight.
I'm glad that it's happening somewhere. I don't need to be in it though.
It depends how long this thing goes on. All the other poets out there might eventually find out that they don't want to have to organize their own all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like I went out of my way to do this, and I want to keep doing it because I went and paid, like, ended up being like $16 for this stuff, and I'm going to be doing $16 every month if we keep doing it. I'm okay with doing it every other week. I really haven't settled on a schedule, but whatever everybody wants to do. I'm going to read a couple pieces from speaking of the chat books that we do through Beautiful Blasphemy. This is a Beautiful Blasphemy exclusive. It's called Octothorpe, which is actually what that symbol's called. Hashtag #Octothorpe. And this is the whole collection is about the intersections between our digital lives and our like physical, like lived emotional lives. So this first piece I'm gonna read I could read this whole there's only like 6 poems or so, but this first one I'm gonna read from this is called Still Life, Green Milkshake and Purple Orchid. Valentine's Day. I'm picking out an orchid from this grocery store display last minute because, like I too often do, I forgot. I consider the flowers, rubbing a petal between my thumb and forefinger. In my head, I wander back through the years of dusty memories and stumble upon this scene from that year I spent with you and your family. I don't think you'd remember it. We were fighting a dragon with dice in Mike's basement, and your wife called with a craving for a unique type of beverage that is only available at a specific fast food chain at a certain time of year. The quest was clear. We drove to the spot, but they'd sold the last one. I thought, well, that's that. We failed our quest. But you, being the paladin you were back then, weren't so quick to admit defeat. To the store, you said. And to the store we went because you were driving. We hunted down the ingredients together, striking them off a list as we went, just like the time we played a couple of orcish assassins. I still remember the smile on her face when she figured out what we were up to in the kitchen. This was the moment I knew the kind of man I wanted to grow into, the kind of man I hoped I'd become. The man who makes his lover smile exactly like that. Then I remember that years later, after I moved out, after Mike got sick and we stopped playing, and for some we stopped talking for some reason I don't recall. I heard through a mutual friend that you caught her with another man and demanded a divorce. Then, walling yourself off from the world, you became a bitter hermit, posting snarky nihilistic witticisms on social media. Strange, aren't they, the moments that shape us? The ideas that get stuck in our heads about who we are and who we should be, these images we hold on to of each other and ourselves. How they can be so fragile and yet so deeply rooted within us. When I get home, I look at your profile, like I've done many times before, and I flirt with the idea of sending you a message. I never do. Instead, I close the browser and think about a painting I would paint if I could do such a thing. What was the other one you said you wanted?
Oh, the haikus.
The haikus? Okay.
Yeah.
See if I can find where the haikus are in here. Okay. These are 21st century haikus, which is an oxymoron because none of them are really haikus because they're not about nature. Oh, someone else. Angie's entering. Hi, Angie. All right. 21st century haikus. Smartphone, cheese is the title of this one. Be still. Do not blink. I can't wait to remember this moment with you. Summer in the park. Children dancing in chalk. Fathers lost in their phones. Me. Autopoiesis. Autocorrect. Autopsies? Me. You're such a pessimist. Hidden among the weeds, a moonflower in full bloom. Pose, click, share. How lonely, trudging along the highway, lifeline in my pocket, nearly dead. This one's called Upload Me to the Mushroom Cloud. Oh, Kat's got haiku too. Do you want to do your haiku now then? Awesome. No? Yes? No?
I don't know. I was just gonna jump in and I don't know. I can read a couple. You can read a couple if you want. You can
Okay.
have a haiku off.
Well, I just did all the haiku I had.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's my turn then.
I have
I have
other
a few.
ones, but I don't know where they are. Yeah, they were just.
Oh,
I was just reading from
combined
the.
together.
But yeah, you can jump in and do some haiku. That sounds fun.
A bunch. All right. All right. Ready? CEO trades places with Grunt. Now works for pride, not profit. Though it hurts to help you pack, I won't be the one to hold you back. 2-word mantra. Shh. Ah. Our storms rest in the eye of our love. Stranger than fiction, Cat attempts poetry to say unsayable. Salty email swap, pleasantries, smile, handshake, electronic foe. Soul sisters become blood sisters after the mosquito. Releasing religion in pursuit of fruit. Consulting the way, I see I'm on the path. Tension is vital to gain release. If I hadn't stayed, I wouldn't have found the way out. Watching the stars, finding my center, yet not at the center. Barely a hesitation, the moth dives in. Patience, firefly gazing, turning out the lights they make, knowledge its own reward. For every burned bridge, another connection lost. Small gathering, hopeful savior sight haiku, every crow listens. Roles we play, transient as mist, dissipated by noon. Verbose, Reduction perfect practice, haiku. Our conversation, a poorly executed dance, all toes bruised. That's it.
Alrighty. So we're gonna pop over to Ryan because he's got anti-haiku, and I don't know what that means.
Well, some of mine were haiku and some of mine were just short form, like just
Yeah. Like, I
similar to
don't think technically any of mine can be counted as haiku because they're not classically what's considered nature.
right. But I mean, like some of mine had the syllable scheme and some of them don't.
Yeah. I think though they were really haiku because human nature is a kind of nature, but whatever.
You could argue that, but usually traditional include like seasons and stuff.
Yeah. Then there's like a seasonal word and a cutting word. Yeah, hold on. I did a whole class on them, but
Mhm.
it was
But it still works. It's still
yeah.
totally valid form.
Yep. Alrighty, Ryan. Anti-haiku. I feel like this is
Yeah.
gonna be like him reading paragraphs to us.
Mm,
No, it's anti-haiku because I ignore the syllable structure. I always feel
okay.
that, and for tanka, such like syllable structures is only for languages that are naturally musical or lyrical, and English is not. So I just ignore them.
You're not the first to have that thought. It's actually Jack Kerouac's take on haiku when it comes to American haiku, actually. Funny little thing. Jack Kerouac completely ignored syllable structure when he wrote haiku because of that very reason. He thought that it was only relevant with Japanese.
Hey, I'm smarter than I thought. Pretend I knew that.
Alrighty.
Although, oddly, the first one of these actually does follow that, and then I stopped caring after that.
Alrighty. What makes an anti-haiku, though? Just
The no syllable structure.
oh, that's it? Oh, that,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Sort of like I used to have anti-tanka,
Okay.
or tutanka or not tutanka.
Okay.
All right. Do not show your dog on your dating profile pic. Not dating your dog. Sometimes I think I love coffee more than pussy. It's still there in the morning. Your love lights me up like a neon sign, but it seems I'm just the moth. This next one, I kind of stole 2 lines from someone's Facebook post. Douglas, I'm going to say Alcoin. I can't pronounce his last name properly. But so several of the lines I stole from his and I added 2 things. If I promised you the moon and the stars, would you believe it? I gave a woman this once. She left me for her own universe. And then the next 2 are actually part 1 and part 2. And the first one I stole a couple song lyrics. What if I'm fucked up beyond repair? When the sky falls and the world crumbles, I wonder why I still get to wake up. You will just have to learn how to live broken, make the flaws part of the story, and seal in the cracks with precious golden moments. That's all I got of those. I also have a Hello Poetry page I'm stealing off of.
Nice, nice. All
Does
right.
Angie have anything to read?
It's a good question. Does Angie? Nope. Okay.
I'm going back to being green. It's cooler. Then you can't tell what I'm really doing.
Oh, that's terrifying. All right. I'm gonna jump in and do a couple, and then we can get a couple more from people who aren't me, and then we can call it a night because it'll be about 8 o'clock. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Upload me to the mushroom cloud. When I pass on, do me one last courtesy and delete me from your phone. Oh, Sue Flat's coming in. Hi, Sue. I'm about to read a thing. Do you want to jump in and read anything real quick? We're coming up on our last 15 minutes, so I want to make sure everyone who wants to read can read. Hello? Hello? Alrighty, well, while she figures that out, I'm gonna do this poem real quick, and I'll mute her real quick so we can do that, and then we'll go back to that. All right, so upload me to the mushroom cloud. Oh, someone else. We're getting people. Hello.
Hey,
Hello, how's everybody doing?
can people hear you? Can you hear people?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
I
can hear
I
her.
can hear you. I can hear you, Sue.
See,
Yeah,
now everybody knows my real name because I'm using Zoom for work. Ah,
Okay. Well, I just I assumed and didn't, you know. But
everyone
anyway, do
assumes
you
it's
want to?
Susan. It's just
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna call you Susan when you're in here. Sue, did you want to read anything?
sure.
Okay, I will put the spotlight. Oh, I can't put the spotlight on you because you don't have your camera on, but I'll put it in gallery, and we can all admire our own faces reacting to what you're doing. Do you care if
I
you're
can see if
recorded?
I can change it.
All right. Do you care if you're recorded? If
No.
yeah, because if you don't want to be recorded, we can cut you out of the final edit of it. But
Let me see if I need a second.
all right.
I'm so unprepared.
Oh, it's okay. In the meanwhile, I'll just read something real quick while you get ready. Okay.
Go first.
Okay. So I'll go back to speaker view. All right. Now the third attempt for this piece. And I'll watch another person's gonna pop in and come in. All right. Upload me to the mushroom cloud. When I pass on, do me one last courtesy and delete me from your phone. Unfriend, unfollow, and block me if you must. I do not want to be a spirit haunting your social media feed. My final selfie staring through you to the deepest part of your soul. Did his eyes just move? You bet they did. Delete me! You can keep my streaming service subscription if you want to keep paying for them. But get rid of my profiles, will you? I promise I won't be needing them. Do not fill my timeline with peace for me to rest in. There's no peace or rest in all those unchecked notifications. No one needs to be reminded of my absence. I do not need the guilt of your questions, your whys and hows and introspection. Let me tell you right now, you don't have to anguish. There was nothing you could do. There was no way you could stop it. Time is relentless and cruel, and it ends for us all eventually. We all expire, go bad, spoil, and become something rotten in the earth or cooked to dust to be littered in some lake. We all go somewhere or nowhere eventually and leave behind someone Googling the stages of grief, refreshing a blog that will never be updated again, searching past tweets for omens or instructions on building a time machine. There is no such thing. So please don't. Just let me be forgotten, and in time, forgiven too. All right, you ready, Sue?
Sure. Okay. This I just wrote about 2 weeks ago.
Cool.
It's called, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. We're all
It's
gonna
called,
while you're speaking so that you get silence and stuff.
oh, groovy. Okay. To my next door neighbors in the suburbs, valediction wishes after Rachel Wiley and Ciara Freeman. When I move away, I hope that your new neighbors are better than I am. In fact, I hope they're better than you, just a little. I hope the mom drives the same late model Lexus RX as you, except yours is basic base white trim and a lease. And she casually mentions paying hers off last year. Hers with the F-Sport Performance all-wheel drive trim. Hers with the custom paint job that matches her cool winter hues of her couture capsule wardrobe. Her gardening overalls and her brand new Lululemon leggings that she actually wears when she actually works out with her actual personal trainer, which she doesn't mind buying off the rack because they're so cute. I hope she thinks you're so cute and invites you over to go through the box of hand-me-down clothes that her mother sent her last summer. I hope she giggles when she pulls out the clothes and says her mom's been sending her care packages since she left for college. I hope she puts her hand on your shoulder and says, "You know how it is," as she muses about dorm life and her scholarship to Columbia. I hope you don't really know how it is, but you nod anyway. I hope she sighs and says how grateful she is, how hard her parents worked and supported her even though they didn't go to college. I hope she thinks they're cute. I hope you love her mother's clothes. I hope they fit you perfectly and you feel cute. I hope her wife thinks your husband's Jeep is shit, but in a fun way. I hope she drives a 1970 Toyota Land Cruiser that she restored herself. I hope she invites your husband over for beer, pops the hood on that sweet, clean engine, and starts talking shop. I hope he pretends to understand. I hope she thinks it's cute. I hope after that, she offers to teach him to change his oil because she knows he can't. I hope she teaches him. I hope he learns. I hope she thinks this is very cute. I hope they plant a better garden than I ever did. In fact, I hope they spent their college years expropriating abandoned lots outside the city and perfecting their knowledge of xeriscaping and permaculture on the weekends. I hope that's how they fell in love, elbows deep in good soil, dreaming of feeding the world. I hope they turn their backyard into a food forest that your son loves to explore every day. I hope it's where he falls in love with their child, Clover, who is exactly 1 year younger and 1 inch taller than he is. I hope they think it's cute. I hope it's all very cute. I hope every time you cross the lawn wearing her mother's cutest hand-me-downs to complain about her rain barrels, rain chains, compost bins, and weeds, she meets you at the gate with a plate of irresistible raw vegan brownies and with a raspberry dark chocolate ganache and a basket full of perfect fruits and veggies and a smile full of straight white teeth. And you say thank you, go home, and eat a brownie, a cute, cute brownie. I hope your husband cuts down his dwarf Korean lilacs and the overgrown Rosa Sharon plants you planted to hide me from your sight, plants native plants you could eat, buys 2 goats, asks her wife to help him build a chicken coop. I hope the kids paint the coop with natural pigments they make in the yard. I hope they paint each other. I hope they hide behind the coop the first time they kiss. That would be so cute. I hope your son follows Clover to college and they volunteer at an info shop and learn to make paper and perfect their printing press prowess on weekends. I hope they print radical zines in 100% sustainable ways, start a books to prisoners co-op to support the local abolition program, and draw a perfect intentional community themselves. And anytime anyone thinks of them and how much they love each other, they think they're so cute. I hope your husband sells a shit Jeep and buys a 1967 Camaro and restores it with your new neighbor's wife while Lululemon takes you to the fitness co-op to meet her personal trainer, Rain, who helps you feel cute. I hope you feel so cute every day, almost as cute as your neighbor. I hope the kids want to borrow the car when they visit, but never the Lexus, always the Land Cruiser. I hope your husband is so proud and you wonder what the appeal is. I mean, it's cute, I suppose. I hope the moms gladly host every holiday and you work every day to make just one dish that someone might notice. I hope you buy the latest, most expensive gadgets every year and they thank you, then go back to gushing over, oh God, the best shovel from the moms. I hope it's all very cute. I hope Clover can always beat your son in a foot race and climb higher in a tree and that your son loves it. I hope Clover's GPA and GRE scores and other test scores they ever take are just a little higher than your son's and that he loves it. I hope every time Clover reads aloud to him, his heart hums a lullaby. I hope they have divergent tastes in foods, but never fight about where to eat. I hope they never get married. I hope they buy goats and dogs and chickens. I hope your husband loves it. I hope you continue to try to see why. I hope they grow their own food and don't kill their dandelions or rake their leaves. I hope they're better than any of us. I hope you, when you visit the moms on the holidays, remember me just a little and reap all of the fruits of neighbors that are better than me in every single way and just a little better than you. Thanks.
Alrighty. If you have any others you want to read, you feel free. We are, yeah. So yeah, we're kind of at like everyone's starting to come in. Like we have one more person coming in who wants to read, and they're just getting a shirt, and they might be popping on here in a second. So if anyone wants to read anything to kill that time, yeah, right. Next time we just start at 8, and that's when people are starting to flood in. So yeah, does anyone else have anything they want to read in the meantime while we're waiting for Sean to get here? I can always throw some stuff
Yeah.
out. Ryan?
Yay!
I was gonna say if there wasn't anyone else, I could also read one last thing. But is Jeffrey the new person? Does he want to read something?
I already spoke with him. He said he's just here while listening for now.
Okay. Who was the one who said they had something? Sai? I thought I heard someone. Anyways, I do have something if you
Oh.
guys don't care.
I mean, I literally have books and books over here. So I can fill.
Yeah, I got one last.
I have more, but I've already done a lot of reading today, so.
Okay. I'll do something from Everything Defenestrated. I'll do a couple poems and just kind of fill the space between now and when Sean comes in. But if somebody thinks of like something that they have that kind of riffs off of what I'm doing, feel free to pop in and say, "Hey, Josh, I got something cool." So, all right.
Groovy.
Alrighty. I'm gonna do. Guillotine. I'm gonna do Guillotine from Everything Defenestrated, and this is a really weird thing that really happened. It's based on a conversation I had with my brother once, and he's doing fine. That's all you need to know. He's doing fine now. He's, as far as I know, not still thinking like this, but like any respectable Rube Goldberg apparatus, it started with something small, snowballing down a steep decline towards something like a precariously stacked Jenga tower. Upon collision, it took out a fundamental block and sprang forth the inevitable collapse. Tugging on a string that turned a cog, that flipped a switch, that struck a match, that birthed a flame, that licked a rope, that held the sharpened blade of the guillotine at bay. We were 3 sheets into a 3 a.m. conversation at a party that had just passed the crossroads of pass out or drag ass the next morning. We climbed the ladder and sat on the roof, not wanting to wake the light sleepers. That's when he told me about the guillotine, about the preliminary sketches he kept in his notebook, how he'd imagined the look on people's faces when they found his head, separated from his body, rolling around on the floor. He said, if things don't take a right turn soon, if life keeps sucking this hard, I'm going to start gathering materials for construction. Give my life some purpose and go out on my own terms. And I kept thinking about Hunter S. Thompson's typewriter, about Sylvia Plath's oven, about Kurt Cobain's blood-soaked stained flannel being sold on eBay, about all the artifacts left behind by the architects of suicide. I wanted to tell him don't. I wanted to say something hopeful and meaningful. I wanted to tell him that I was there if he needed anything, if he needed to cry or scream or play Mario Kart or just be in the same room with someone, I'd be there. I wanted to say all of that, but what came out was, shit, man. That's heavy. Yeah, he said with a tinge of regret, like he'd revealed too much, like he'd showed his scars, and I recoiled in disgust. We watched the stars in silence until sunrise. Luckily, the flame went out before it could burn through the rope. That is to say, things took a right turn. Last time I saw him, he seemed healthy, happy, and sane. Still, I kept thinking about Hunter S. Thompson's typewriter, about Sylvia Plath's oven, about Kurt Cobain's blood-stained flannel, about how their family must have felt about all the architects of death, forever artifacts of death, forever associated with the name of their loved ones. I kept imagining reading the obituary of an eccentric artist building his own Rube Goldberg suicide machine, and then reimagining the name of that stranger replaced with my brother's. Sean King, everybody. You made it sound.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful, Josh.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
You.
Sean, are you ready to read, or should I do another poem to stall?
Yeah, how long do you want me to read for? Like, we'll just read one poem, or
You can do as many as you want.
I'll just do like two. That's fine.
Yeah, we're coming up on, it's like 8 o'clock, but it's okay. You can, we can go a little long if you want. So
Yeah,
yeah,
these are gonna be old ones. I'm sorry if anyone's.
Oh, that's all good.
Yeah, you've probably heard these before, but it's whatever. Well, if you've ever seen me read, 5 years ago when I was doing that.
Got a good mix of people, man. There's a good chance. Maybe not. I don't know if Sue's ever been to an Erie show. I know Kat's probably heard some of your stuff before, but I'm pretty sure Angie hasn't. I don't know if Sai's ever been out that way. So yes, you're new to a lot of people. So I mean, he's awesome. So let's.
Okay.
All right.
If anyone didn't know, me and Josh used to have a podcast kind of thing that we did for like 10 or 15. I don't even know how many we did. Some number, but
yeah,
right.
We should start that back up now that podcasting is easier because Anchor exists.
Yeah, podcasting is super easy now.
Yeah, it used to be harder, and we didn't really know what we were doing. And yeah,
that's to say the least. We kind of were just like, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, it was pretty fun though. Yeah, it'd be cool to bring that back. Destination Detour, that was fun. Alrighty, so without further ado, Sean King.
Okay, this first poem is going to be called Passenger. The warm, humid night air feels like a blanket, a layer of protection from my frantic thoughts. The open window allows the air to flow over me, my worries left behind like so many miles. 2/3 of my conscience shuts down, conversation comes natural to me. My friend drives the roads, so familiar he cracks open my transient brain to alleviate anxieties we both have inside. The longer we roam, the further I wander, wondering why existence can't be this smooth, letting me moonwalk from state to state of consciousness between state lines. The flow of information on the surface appears unilateral. He talks and I listen. The underlying transaction, my choice in music, replying chromatic above my monotonal voice, a conduit of absorbent listening. What I send out completely dependent on the mood of the captain. Length, speed, and route of the journey, all inclusive. What never changes is the destination.
Woo!
All right, let me just go up here. I'm just reading these off my blog. All right, I'll do a couple short ones. There we go. All right, this is called time-lapsed phonography. Listening to the music of my youth. Am I getting old? Lane Staley would be 46 today. Grandparents speak almost as loud as the generation gaps. Music today just isn't the same. Music for me is rarely in the moment. Now it transports me to a particular place and time. Conceptually speaking, vocal cords are my time machine of choice, a conduit of space, time, and location. Sorry. Okay, there we go. I'll just do this last one here and it'll be good. This is called Erie, the all-American flagship city. A proud people, a proud history, too proud to change, a brick in the foundation of America. Men from Erie County held Little Round Top at Gettysburg. Now their hands are severed from their bodies because they hold on to their jobs too tightly. Broken, disheveled buildings line 12th Street like a cracked engine block at our center. We no longer hold compression. Compression needed to stem the flow of blood as we hemorrhage jobs, people, youth, dignity, and pride. People here are tough. With our rich maritime history, we know how to batten down the hatches and prepare for a long winter. Shovels to keep our driveways and sidewalks clean during the short days. Now life preservers, keeping our heads above the shit all year round. A mountain of shit held up by the backs of hardworking Americans. While our backs are breaking and the foundation is cracked, the same shit overflows into our bay. The gem city we used to be called. Our lake sparkling, fought over by several states. Now the state we are in represents the root. Fix the foundation or everything fails. I'll stop there. That seems good. I just read a couple of my favorite ones I used to read all the time. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would have been here earlier, but I was actually not at home. I went out grocery shopping and I came back and saw the message. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I ended up spamming like everybody because we were down with like only a couple people at first, and then it kind of built up a little bit. And we had stuff going on, and now that it's technically over, we have like the most people we've had all night. Is anyone else?
Look, there's my face.
Oh, there's your face. All right. We were highlighting people, like, because we're recording this. By the way, is it okay to have that last stuff in there, like the recording?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Cool. We were highlighting people so that they were taking up most of the screen when they were talking, but because you weren't, like, your camera wasn't on, it wasn't letting me do that. So I just did this like Brady Bunch looking thing we got going on.
Yeah, it's cool. Like my garbage can. My camera's. I was streaming myself on Twitch playing video games, but
I set
I'm
this.
totally obscuring myself on purpose. I look like shit. I don't want you to see me.
I have my camera set to some fancy thing. I don't know why. So I'm
Well,
green
that's
and
because
weird.
you look fabulous with your green weirdness.
Well, that you can actually tell what hand gestures I'm actually making.
Ah.
Such a weirdo. All right. Yeah, so I got like, because I was doing some like librarian stuff earlier, and so I have like my teen books and like stuff hanging out. I got Yoshi right here, got Jake from Adventure Time, got the Maurice from Planet of the Apes and SpongeBob, and then like a pile of like stuffed animals over here, like a giant snake, and then like this is like a dragon skull. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, like a dragon.
green screen here for when I
nice.
stream, but I don't have it set up at the moment.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm hoping to do this more often, bi-weekly, at the least. I mean, monthly at the least, I would say. I wouldn't necessarily want to do weekly because I think that would get old and not a lot of people would show up. But yeah, if you guys can want to do that and keep coming, that'd be dope. I would just
That sounds awesome.
it would basically, what I'd do is I'd make a new event page every time, and then like 30 minutes before I would just send out the link. So just keep an eye on my Facebook page or the Beautiful Blasphemy Facebook page, and the link will go up 30 minutes before, because I know like even having the Facebook event, I thought having like a week to hype it would get people in, but I honestly think I got more from just people just spamming people's
Just popping in.
yeah. Like I
This
got
video
more activity from just popping into people's like
Messenger.
messenger and just saying link. I kind of felt bad.
Yeah,
It worked. So
it totally worked.
this video will be up on our YouTube channel. If you go up a little higher, you can see where to find that in the chat. It's actually on my art group. It's a playlist for Beautiful Blasphemy on my art group page, just because it's easier for me to manage. So head up near the chat, you can see the information for that, and I'll get this up there. That playlist also has a whole crap load of our previous readings I attend. If you go really far back, you can see the earliest Beautiful Blasphemy readings at my house when we first started this group.
yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, so does anyone else want to jump in and do anything before we call it a night and I start rendering this video? No? All right.
I'm good.
Thank you. This was awesome.
This was this is really fun. I hope to see you guys in 2 weeks or whenever I'll send out a thing. And what's a good day? Is this a good day for you, everybody?
Every day is a good day right now.
I think it's fine whenever you do it, but
Yeah, everybody's schedule is open these days.
Yeah, that's kind of why I figured we would just Yeah, this is pretty much the only day that I was free, because I've been doing online things pretty much nonstop. Because there's
Writer's Block has a Wednesday night one, so we might not want to overlap with that. Just
Oh,
for
yeah,
what it's worth.
Okay, are they using Zoom too, or is it a different thing?
No, they're just making an event page, and then just people are posting videos or what's it called? Just images, just the text to the event page.
Oh,
And then everybody's just like on the discussion of the event page, just kind of scrolling through. So it's not as it's a lot more asynchronous.
yeah.
But this was groovy. This was
I
really
don't-
cool. This is the first time I've like been in a synchronous open mic since this all started.
Yeah, like I like like what they're doing, but I don't know if I would like participate in the same way, because like I don't know, this feels more akin to what I like and what I get out of readings is like the interaction and the seeing the performance. So that's kind of what I was aiming for, was to try to get like a poets hall or you know, like I forget names of some Cleveland places, but just kind of like the vibe of a performance kind of situation.
Yeah, I miss Poets Hall. It's a good place.
Yeah.
I put in for grants to actually build my own art center / poets hall. They are real long shots, but I also very much liked Erie's Poets Hall and kind of want to clone something like that for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a friend who has been granted a space to create an artist's community, sort of, which will, of course, include poetry if I have anything to do with it. But it's kind of on hold for the moment, as is everything.
Yeah.
So
Right,
I will
connect me to
definitely
that friend if you
let
can.
all the poets I know
Okay.
about it once there's actually something to talk about.
Okay. What day is today?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. So I'm thinking about making these a recurring thing on either, I mean, if people are cool with weekly, we could do weekly, but I honestly think it'd be more yeah, probably bi-weekly would be best.
Bi-weekly would be better for me.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So
Speaking when I hit it.
Maybe I'll write some. Maybe I'll write something. That'd be wonderful, right?
yeah, we'll have some time to write some things.
Might get some new out of me.
Alrighty. So yeah, I'll let you guys know when the next one will be. Oh, look at the kitty. Sorry, I got distracted by the kitty.
I love seeing everybody's pets and stuff. I saw the funniest thing online about like people were in a Zoom meeting and somebody's dog started barking, and then somebody else's dog started barking. The business meeting, but all the dogs that like all of the owners had started barking, and so the person had to mute it. So
Oh, that's great.
Josh, do you remember the Bulldozer podcast?
No.
The one we were trying to do the podcast and the bulldozer outside my house
Oh
kept going?
yeah, we were doing like a podcast episode and there was a bulldozer the whole time. It was like, ugh.
That was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I went
Yeah, I
out
was-
on my porch so you could hear me. It's like because of my kids, and then there's like traffic sounds and stuff, and I was like, well, I got traffic sounds or shouty children. What are my choices?
Yeah. So
I tried to live stream earlier today, and that's the day they decided to rent the big steam cleaner van and turn it on next to where I'm working, or the apartment directly above where I'm working.
Yep,
Oh no,
that's how it goes.
this is our
Sounds
new
good.
normal.
Yep.
Real life sounds all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You could always go out in your car.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Jeffrey. You're welcome.
I think I'm gonna hold my office hours in my car. That's a great idea, actually.
Mhm.
But, like for school, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna be in my car for the next hour if anybody wants to talk to me.
That's
Right.
brilliant. Awesome. Alrighty, so I'm gonna try to do this again in a couple weeks. I'm glad everyone had fun. I had a blast. This was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was good. Before, like, I kind of feel bad because like Sue showed up kind of at the end, but before she got here and a couple other people got here, it was like the same 3 people reading. But it was really fun. I had a good time. before Sean
I
showed
think,
up.
yeah. It's sweet and intimate that way. That doesn't make it bad. It just makes it sweet and intimate.
Aw. Yeah, it was. It was really nice. I was having a good time, and I still am. It was great. This was a good time. Hopefully we can all show up a little earlier. I'm not, or we can start later. Whatever works for everybody.
Groovy.
Alrighty, I'll probably be asking some more questions on Facebook for ideas, like what I can do differently, how we can do this better, how we can do. But I think I'm going to head out.
Fab. You guys have a great night. Bye.
All right,
Good
bye.
night.
See you later. Bye.
Hey, Josh, I'm sending you one last message.
All right.
That's it. Next time you do this, I'll do your thing and spam the actual other hosts of events.
All right. Cool.
And Sean, can I send you my email? Is that effective for you?
Sure.
All right. Because I won't be able to get to you right away because I'm leaving home to pick up trash. I'm allowed to pick up trash as a actual essential service for my job.
Sweet.
That's interesting.
Kuholan 666. Nice.
All right. Cool. Now I'm checking out. I'm gonna go check in with my kid if he's still awake.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I'm hitting the end meeting button now.
But